Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, guys. Coffee Talk Supplemental. The case of the missing Polish premium medium tier 8 has been solved. Well, this is not it. This is the CS53. But the CS52, I believe, LIS. If you go into missions, today is Wednesday. On Friday, it starts on the 28th. That's the event start. Goes to the 10th of September. It's about 14 days. And it's a marathon. We got a marathon. All right, that is how you're going to get a hold of, or at least get a discount, which is really probably the more realistic thing. All right, we're going to take a look at it, but let's go quick math in public. And all you got to do is go into missions, go LIS challenge. That's where the marathon will be. The total is 246,000 experience to get it for free. If you averaged 1,000 experience per time, then you would do it in 246 battles, roughly. If you did not average 1,000, which not a lot of people do, not even me really, to be quite honest. If you average 500, let's call it something more realistic, you're talking about 492 games in about 14 days. 492 games divided by 14. How many is that? 492 divided by 14 is about 35 games a day, folks. That's a woof. It can be done, obviously. It will be done. Some of you will. But I think more realistically, what you're looking to do is get some kind of discount. So for every stage you get through, not to, but through, then you will get 10%. I.e., if you get to stage 3, it means you've gone through 2 stages, you will have a 20% discount. That is how it works. So let's take a look at it. It is a graduated, increasing kind of marathon. It gets harder as you go. The first few are fairly easy, and then obviously the grind really gets going. It's all one grind. It's just you're going to go through a few phases early, a few of the stages early, and you're going to probably get to a 20, 30, 40% discount pretty easy. That's going to depend on you, on what you're trying to do. Do I want to, no kidding, get it free? Am I aiming for 40%, 50%? I don't have a pricing right now. It's going to be interesting to see what is there. And this is not for sale yet. You can buy it. You will be able to buy it according to the article. And we'll take a look at that in just a minute. As of the day that it comes out on the 28th. All right. So I'm under an NDA about the tank itself, so I can't really talk about it, but we can talk about the challenge and what's going to go on with all this stuff right here. So first one is stage 1, pretty easy as usual, 2,000. So this is 2,000 base experience as long as you're in the top 10. So that's going to avoid most of the botting. That will hurt a little bit. Occasionally you will not be in the top 10. It does not seem to have a win requirement. That's very nice. However, you can also do the tier 10, the harder stage, or the mission for mastery, as they call it, as opposed to just the grind, which is mission for commitment and only has to do with experience. These change the mission for mastery. The first one, remember you have to be tier 10, the first one is 650 base. So you can kind of carefully go through some of this. This may be 2 to 4 battles right here, trying to do it for commitment. If you get in your tier 10 and you roll out a nice 650 point game, 650 base experience game, you're done with that phase immediately. You don't have to go through the 2,000. So a lot of very good players will prioritize it that way. Really, if you just play tier 10 to go through the marathon, depending on how good you are, that's probably the best way, because you may trip some of these other requirements before you get to the grindy part of the base experience. So we'll take a look at those. That one seems fairly easy, but of course it's the first one. Second one, you need to do 3,500 hit points of damage one time. Be among top 3 by damage caused. Only in tier, remember these are all tier 10. So, okay. Probably be able to knock that one out before you do 5,000 mission for commitment. Not a bad plan there. Finish the battle as a top player on your team by experience 2 times. Also, I think you could probably, if you're good, now this is where it starts to get difficult. You're talking top guy in a tier 10 battle. You got to be pretty good to knock that out. But if you are good, you're probably going to do that before you get 9,000 base. But again, if you're playing just tier 10, eventually you'll knock that out. And it gets harder from there. We've got 4,200 4 times before you get 17,000 experience. That's getting a little more difficult right there. That's an interesting number, 4,200. Finish as the top player on both teams by damage 8 times and cause at least 3,200. Now this is where it's getting a little tricky. 8 battles, top damage 3,200. This is really the top level of good players right here are going to do this kind of thing at tier 10 before you get to 28,000. But still, if you're considering 500 experience per game, math in public, that's 56 games and in the top 10. So maybe you add a couple more in there for games you don't get into the top 10 for whatever reason. Very tricky there. All right, so we get on to stage 4 and we earn at least 850 base 13 times. I think that's a little bit easier than the one before, to be quite honest. On stage 7, finish the battle as top player on both teams by experience earned 9 times. Very interesting. I find that a little bit easier at times than damage. Why? Because your light tanks are now in play with things like that. Even artillery on occasion is in play with things like that. More so than just pure damage missions where you may want to prioritize a really good medium or a nice heavy tank to get those damages. In this case, a light tank is more in play when you're talking top experience on the team. 32,000 we're up to, holy cow. 64 games if you're a 500 average experience guy. Remember, it's base experience. Stage 8 is obtain the high caliber award 5 times, only for tier 10 vehicles. Now that, I believe, that's still the top damage, but there's some other requirements in there. So now we're talking about badges and masteries and things like that. 35,000, that's 70 battles at 500. Get to 25 times, finish the battle as a top player on your team by damage caused 25 times. Wow. Wow. Now, if you just look at this and you go, all right, if I'm averaging it, I'm a good player and I'm averaging 1,000 a game, that's going to give me roughly 40 games to get this done. And if I want to do it sooner at tier 10, 25 of those 40, I have to be the top player on my team by damage. That's a trick. That's a trick. It would be very interesting to see if anybody actually does an entire one of these marathons by doing the tier 10. I bet those guys are out there, or gals. There's probably a few of them that are able to knock that out. But for the rest of us, it's a grind, my friends. It's a grind. Finish the battle as the top player in your team by experience 30 times before you either get to 50 or 100 battles again, somewhere in between there, depending on what your average experience is. And then you have unlocked it for free. All right, let's take a quick look just at the website. I wanted to bring one thing up on the website here, which I thought was pretty funny. The video, I think, is worth watching, guys, over here. And I'm just going to play a little bit of it. It was, I thought it was pretty well done. It was a bit cheesy at times, but I did get a couple laughs. So let's just look at this.
A sly fox. A mercenary ready to do anything. And in the end, they got what they paid for. But the price was too high. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This story must be told from the beginning.
Waking up, I see them clear, floating down the river and hanging from the tree. Hide away from all we fear.
All right, it's just, there's all the characters that are in the video, so check it out. All right, another thing that they did this time, which is a little bit different from what I recall, is, and this is really interesting because it's kind of the hard sell, maybe to entice people to buy it sooner than try to grind it out and get a bunch of discounts. There's the rewards. There's various other rewards. I won't get into it, but you can see there's all kinds of stuff. There's silver. Is there any gold? Doesn't look like there's any gold. Silver, garage slots, a rammer, some equipment, consumables, directives, personal reserves, all kinds of stuff going on. All right. What if you finish? Well, guess what? Post-progression missions, folks. Very interesting. And it looks like there's 14 days of premium involved, some personal reserves, some, I'm assuming those are universal or Polish blueprints, and some experience books, crew books. Very interesting. And you can go through those and take a look at. I won't break all those down, but basically after you get the tank, you can keep playing and get more rewards. You know, an enticement to buy the tank, vice try to get as big of a credit bonus or as a big of a discount as possible. An interesting little twist on it. I don't remember, to be quite honest, if they've done that in the past. Maybe they have, and I just don't remember. Perhaps I misremember it. All right, guys, there you go. The LIS challenge starts on Friday, goes to the 10th. Roughly 14 days to knock out 246,000 experience. That's for the grind. We looked at some of the possibilities at tier 10. Really, I think you're probably aiming at getting some kind of discount that suits you if you do want this tank. Under NDA as far as talking about it, so I can't really talk about the tank. Obviously at some point, and as of what I'm reading in this article, is it'll be available for sale on the 28th, which is Friday. That's all I've got. Thanks for tuning in for this Coffee Talk Supplemental on a nice Wednesday afternoon. Have a good rest of your week, and get some exercise, get some sleep, get ready for it because the marathon is coming. All right. Good luck with that, by the way. Let me know down below how many of you are planning on knocking this out. What is your goal? 100%, 50%, 20%, not interested, buying it straight out? Let me know what you think down there. Appreciate your support for the channel. As always, guys, it's been awesome. As always, that's all I've got, and we will see you.